In this video, we're going to talk about pricing comic books with valuable information that will benefit buyers and sellers in a bear market or a bull market. The principles hold true in any market. Stay tuned.
Bry's Comics.
It's finally time for another Bry's Comics Instagram live sale this Friday, October 14th from 5 to 8 p.m. Pacific time. That's 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern time with guest DJ Matt from Comic Sales. It's gonna be a banger, you guys. You're not gonna wanna miss it. Some of the books that were being priced in this video will be available tomorrow if you're watching this the day it comes out at that live sale over on Instagram at Bry's Comics. I hope to see you there. When it comes to pricing comic books in any market, whether it's a bull market or a bear market, I always use the principles of look up, look down, and look all around. It's a term that I picked up in firefighting when I was a wildland firefighter for the U.S. Forest Service, and it was from a training that we did on situational awareness. And when you're actually out on the fire line, you are literally looking up and down and all around and being situationally aware because trees could fall on you, the wind could shift.
You have to send me this.
Holy shit, we got some torching coming out. Wind shift! Fire could change directions. So it was like a literal sense of look up, look down, and all around. But those principles actually apply to comic books as well. And situational awareness applies to many things in life. And in comic books, what I mean by look up, look down, and all around is look up in grade and look down in grade and look at the sales that are in higher grades, look at the sales that are in lower grades. And what I mean by look all around is look at all the places where comic books are sold on Shortbox, eBay, auction houses. That's look all around to see what's currently available. So when you look up, you look down and look all around, you get a better idea of the trend for this particular comic book. You get a better idea of the supply and you get a better idea of the demand because it's all about supply and demand with everything to do with comic book pricing. So when looking at pricing a comic book, it's really all about what's available, what recently sold, and what the current demand is for the said book, because there's a lot of nuance with this, and we'll get into it later, but the most recent sold price could actually be higher than the lowest listed price, and vice versa. The lowest listed price could be magnitudes higher than the most recent sold price, and so you have to get a better understanding of those two things before you can accurately price a comic book. So to give an example of how this works in a bull market when prices are going through the roof, there could be a situation where the most recent sale was, say, $500 for a book, but the lowest listed price is $750 for that same book. And there may be 10 listings for that book for $750, but the most recent sale was $500. Well, if demand is through the roof and people just aren't willing to sell that book for anything less than $750, that's how you get a 50% increase in price overnight. And likewise, if there's 10 listings for $500 for a book and the most recent sale was $750, that's how you get an instant drop in the value of a book. So it doesn't matter if the market is going up or going down. If you're situationally aware on recent sales, what's currently listed, you'll be able to accurately price comic books in any market. So first, what I want to do is jump into the computer and take a look at an example of a bigger book, an X-Men 1. Then we'll go through some actual pricing of actual books that will be available at tomorrow's live sale on Instagram, and I hope to see you there. Here we are on GP Analysis, and we're looking at X-Men #1 from 1963, the first appearance of the X-Men. And if we look at recent sales here, the most recent sale was $9,625. The sale before that was $10,200, and then the three sales prior to that were over $15,000. And the thing that's interesting about this, if we look at grades, look up, look down, and all around, so we look up a grade at 4.0, and we see that it's selling for around $11,000, and we look down a grade to the 3.0, and interestingly enough, it's sold, the last sale was a little bit more than the 3.5, 99 instead of 96, but the 3.0 and 3.5 for this book have always been very closely knit together as far as pricing goes. So I think $9,600 is a fair price in today's market. I think if you were to put it at $9,500, people would still feel like they're getting, at least a better deal than the last sale, and it would sell quickly at $9,500. And one thing that's interesting about this is if you look at the market boom. So back here, the price went from 9,000 to 14,300 in one sale. And the interesting thing is that, here with the market correction, it pretty much reversed that. It went from 15,000 to 10,000, which is almost an exact reversal, going from 9,000 to 14. It went from 15 to 10. The one thing that's, kind of a relief about this is that I think that these giant drops are over. I think we made it through that giant drop. And from here on out, there's much more steady drops in prices or evening out. I mean, and one thing about selling comic books, in a bull market or in a bear market is if your intention actually is to sell, you need to pay attention to what's happening in the market and price it accordingly. Whether you believe the price of X-Men 1 in a 3.5 is worth 15 or 9, it doesn't really matter if you think it's worth 15. It's not worth 15 today. And so it's just really important that you have an honest look at values based on what's available and what recent sales are. Don't forget to follow me over on Whatnot for live comic book sales every single week. Link in the description for $15 towards your first purchase. I hope to see you there. All right, so here we are, and we're just going to do some real-time live pricing for this live sale, as I'm currently going through all of this stuff to get it priced out for the live sale. And first up, we have this book, Werewolf by Night, #1. This is the 1 in 100 Plug variant cover. It's the Hidden Gem Mike Plug cover. First appearance of Jake Gomez as Werewolf by Night. First thing I'm going to do is come over here to GP Analysis and look up some sales history. So Werewolf by Night #1. It's important that you put the hashtag in there, otherwise it won't pull it up as easily. So Werewolf by Night #1. Here you have the different titles. There's volume 1, there's volume 2, and here's one we're looking for, the 2020 version. Pulls up the sales here. The 9.8 is for the cover A, and then the Plug variant cover is one we're looking at. So $4.50 was the last sale in October, but you got to click in to get more details because the last sale is not enough info to base a price on. You have to look up and down. That's my #1 tip for pricing books, is look up and down. Look up and down in grade and look up and down in sales to get an idea of the trend and where the book's heading and what it's worth today. So here we can see it peaked at $695 earlier this year, then it was trending around $500 consistently, a low of $424, and then the last two sales in September and October were $452 and $450. So I think a fair price for this book today would be $450. But let's go ahead and take a look and see what stuff is actually listed for. So if we go over to eBay and type in Werewolf by Night #1, CGC 9.8, 1 in 100. And so here we see some listings at $525, $549, $1,400. Someone's really reaching there. $566. So, the lowest listed is $525, which, gives you an idea that people aren't, if the last sale was $450, and there was a current listing for $350, then that would tell you that, there's something going on there and you can't go off of the last sale. You have to also consider the lowest listed. But since the lowest listed is higher than the last sale, I think $450 would be a bargain for this. But since it's a live sale and I always do blowout prices on my live sale, I'm going to slap a price on this for $300. Use code COLLECT10 for 10% off all in-stock items at brycecomics.com. That code is always active, and I'm constantly getting new inventory and new collections coming through with new stuff added. While you're there, sign up for the newsletter. This month, we have a free slab giveaway, a 1 in 50 David Nakayama Infinity cover. All you have to do is subscribe to the newsletter, and every month you stay subscribed, you're entered to win a new slab. We also do a free giveaway here on the YouTube channel every single month. This month is a Punisher 1 in 250 awesome Mike Zeck cover. All right, next up we have this book, Uncanny X-Men #4. This is a 1 in 100 Mark Brooks variant cover. Super saucy, really, really awesome variant on this one. And here's where it's probably going to be interesting. If you type in X-Men #4, a whole bunch of titles are going to pop up on GPA. You've got the first series, the annuals, and all of this stuff. So it's important to know the date. So this is the 2019. 2019 was when it was released, which means it might be the 2018 series because it's 4 issues in. So it's either 2018 or 2019. This is part of it, is figuring out the correct book. All of these come up for X-Men number 4. So there's 2018 X-Men Red and Uncanny X-Men 2019. I think it's Uncanny X-Men 2019, and we'll be able to tell by the price here. So we have cover A for 20 bucks, the variant action figure for 45, some signed copies, and the variant edition. So that's the one. It's the variant edition. Mark Brooks. Last sale was $365. You can tell it's kind of all over the place. Recently, the high this year is $652. A low of $33 must be some kind of mistake. Let's click on that and see what happened with the low of $33. It was a Hakes auction, Uncanny X-Men number 4. Wow, if that really ended at $33, that's hilarious. So this means it's possible that this was a legit sale, that they just listed it incorrectly. Uncanny X-Men Volume 5, number 4, variant edition. It doesn't say 1 in 100. I mean, that's crazy that the Hakes. So this is an example of one that absolutely has no impact on the value of this book. That $33 sale has no impact on the value of the book. Maybe don't send stuff to Hakes, because if you look, there's a strong sales history of this book: 500, 400, 300, 600, 400, 400, 300. So you could just throw out that 33. The most recent sale was 365, and that was October 6th. So I think 365 is a fair price for this book. But let's take a look at current listed prices on eBay. $3.99, that's my listing. So I'm the only listing for $3.99. I always go a little bit higher on eBay because all the crazy fees that they charge you these days. If you go to the actual sold listings on eBay, you can see one sold 400 best offer, 358, 415, 395. So these are the actual sales from GPA. Sometimes it's just interesting to see the actual sale. You can tell if it was an auction or if it was a buy it now or if it was a best offer. So I think $365 is a fair price for this book. But being that it's a Bryce Comics live sale, fire sale, we're going to put a price of $275 on it. So let's take a look at some different eras and types of books. So here's Detective Comics number 267 and a 7.0, cream to off-white pages, origin and first appearance of Batmite, a book from 1959. And if we go to GPA and type in Detective 267, we look, there's only one result for Detective Comics 267. And look at some sales history. Looks like the highest grade is a 9.2, or at least the highest grade that's sold on record. 7.0 sold for $2,400 in April of 2022. 7.5 didn't have a recent sale. That was all the way back in 2019. And 8.5 sold in September of this year for $6,600. And then if you look down, nothing recent, nothing recent. 5.5 sold in February for $1,100. So a 7.0, for as rare as this book is, I think $2,400 is not like an anomaly. I think that's a fair price for this book. 2021, there was a sale for $4,000. And then 2022, one sale for $2,400. So I think $2,400 is a fair price to list this at. But let's just check and see if there are any others listed. Got Detective 267. There's my listing for $2,600. And if we look, there's another one for $2,500, but it's a 5.5, a 5.0 for $1,140. 7.0 listed for $3,350. So there you go. So, and there's another 7.0 for $2,500. But this one is qualified. So yeah, it's just a super rare book. I think $2,500 is definitely a fair price for this. Being that it's a fire sale, we're going to put a price of $19.50 on that one. So there you have it, guys, an inside look on how I price comic books. You know, it's important to note that these fire sale prices that I do for Instagram live sales is not what I do when I list them on other places where sales are actually recorded. I really value this hobby. I value the comics in this hobby and their prices. And when you send stuff to no reserve auction, to eBay for certain books, you can absolutely destroy the value of comic books. So it's important to really keep that in mind when you're pricing comics. And also to be reasonable. If your intention really is to sell a book, you have to look at the current market conditions and price accordingly. If you feel that, a certain comic book that you own is worth way more than the current asking price in the market, that's totally fine. Hold on to it and wait until, the market rebounds and goes back up, which it inevitably will. So you don't have to sell. You also don't have to waste your time listing the book if it's way higher than the current fair market value. Anyways, I appreciate you sticking with me to the end of the video. I really hope to see you over on Instagram for the live sale tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment on this video, and like this video for your chance to win a free slab, and to sign up for the newsletter at brycecomics.com for your chance to win a free slab each and every month, and use code COLLECT10 for 10% off all in-stock items. That code is always active. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bryce Comics.